Hello and welcome to another Visual C# tutorial. Today we'll be talking about the PictureBox control on our forms. So we will start by saying File, New, Project. We will choose C# and Windows Form in the middle. Down at the bottom we will call this PictureBox Lesson and click OK. And your screen should look something like this. If it doesn't, one more time I'll explain. You can go to Window, Reset Window Layout, and accept the dialog that says OK. Click Yes. And then over here you'll click on the left, you'll click on the toolbar, and at the top you'll see a yellow bar at the top of the toolbox, and you'll click the push pin, and that will dock the toolbox for the controls permanently over on the left. And this is what your screen should now look like. So we're going to start by dragging a PictureBox control onto our form. And if you can't see it over here on the left, then you need to expand the Common Controls option and grab PictureBox and just drag it right in. As always, when we put a control on a form, we want to name it. So we're going to display three pictures here, one of a cat, a dog, and a squirrel. And when the user clicks on one of those pictures, it will say the name of the animal. So this will be the cat picture box. And of course, it's an image control, so we need to give it an image. So if I scroll down a little bit here, you'll see there's an option for image. If I click here, three dots show up over on the right. I'll just click on those, and it will let me choose a file. If I click local resource, that says I want to pull something from my hard drive. So I'll just say import, and I'll choose cat and click open, and there's my cat image. Now it doesn't quite fit right in my control, and I can certainly resize the control to make it fit. But another thing I can do is come down here under size mode, and you'll see that there are a couple of choices. One of them is zoom. And if I click zoom, the image will zoom in to fit as best it can in the size of the controls window. It's not going to distort it by making it longer or shorter than it can be, but it will do its best job to make it fit. So I would like mine to be 200 by 200. I know that my pictures are square, so as long as I pick the same size for the height and width, it will fit perfectly. So we'll just drag that over here. Then I'll drag a second control. We'll go to PictureBox again, bring that in. This one will have a dog in it, so up at the top, I will rename this one Dog PictureBox and choose its image. Click local resource, import, and I will pick the dog. Click OK. And come down to the size, make it 200 by 200, and change its size mode to zoom. Do this one last time. This time what I'm going to do is just copy and paste this control. So I can do that by saying click on the control and saying Control C and Control V, and that will paste an exact copy of that control. But I want to still rename it, so I'm going to call this one Squirrel Picture Box, and I do need to change the image. So I'll click local resource import, and I will pick squirrel. Click OK, and now I have my three images nicely lined up. The next thing I want to do is put a title, a heading essentially, on the top of this form. Now we've used labels in the past to output information onto the form, like Hello World. But in this case I'm going to use a label in a more basic way. It's simply going to be a title at the top of my form. So I'm going to come over here and we're going to name it title label, and I'm going to change its font property. Click this little plus sign next to font and it will expand. I'll make that say 24, That'll make the font bigger. And then scroll down a little bit further and let's change the text property to be choose a picture. And now I have a nice heading for my form. Now we're going to drag a label onto the form that will include the answer when I click on one of these pictures. What's the name of the animal? That will show up in this new label that I just dragged on. So we'll call that over here answer label. And I want to change auto size to false. We've done this before. That means that I can now size the control manually as much as I like. I want it to have a border style of fixed single. That's a single line that will just show up around the border. And I'm going to increase the font size. I'm just going to expand this font option by clicking the plus. And under size, I'm going to make that say 22. Let's see what else we want to change here. We're going to delete the text because I don't want this to show up. I want the program that we're going to write to fill in the text. And we're going to align that text in the box right here in the middle center. And let's see what we've got. So there's my answer box. Make it a little bit bigger. And that's where the text will go once I click on one of these images. Now, we've in the past used buttons as clickable controls on our forms, but pictures can be just as easily used as clickable controls as well. It's still an event that can happen on a picture. It can be clicked. So if I double click on the cat, I end up in my code, and you can see that we've now got a cat PictureBox click event, just like a button would have been. So in this case, I created a label called answer label, and I want to change its text property to be the word cat. So that's, if I go back to my form, remember I have two tabs up here now. I have the actual code, the C# code, and I have this one that says design. I'm going to click on the design. And this control right here is the one that we named answer label. And so I've just changed its text property to be cat. So if I run this program, and I click on the cat, voila, there's cat. Now we just have to code up the other two, and we'll be ready to go. So I'm going to close this, double click on dog. We'll do the same thing here, answer label dot text. Notice I'm allowing the autofill to kind of take me along the way and fill in things as I go. And I'll make this one say dog. Don't forget the semicolon at the end of the line. I'm going to go back to my form by clicking on the design tab, double click on the squirrel, and this time I'll show you another way. I can copy and paste. So I'm just going to take all of this code here, Control C to copy, jump down here, Control V to paste, and just change dog to squirrel. So there's a lot of ways to do things in your code, and you'll find the opportunities that are the methods that work best for you. You might be copying and pasting, you might be typing and hitting tab to select the choices that the computer suggests for you, but you'll find the pattern that works best for you. So now I have a cat, a dog, and a squirrel click handler, one for each, and each one of them will just change the answer label's text property to be the name of the animal. So if I hit start, there's my form. Click on the cat, there it is, dog, and squirrel. And now we have our first PictureBox application that uses the click event of a PictureBox control. Hope you enjoyed that.